Hey there. So it makes me so sad when I come across an online course that I know the instructor has put so much time into, but it's so vague that you don't know who it's for or what it's about or what result you're going to get. Usually it's something about living your best life and being successful. And I kind of want to grab them and say, hey, make sure you listen to this episode because today we're going to talk about 6 questions that can help you focus and make your course so much better and the marketing easier. So let's get to it.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
All right, 6 key questions to ask yourself and answer before you create your next course. And I also wanted to mention I've got 2 free gifts for you today. They are mini courses that I have put together to help you with this whole figuring out your course idea. So the first one is to find your profitable course idea. So you can get that at coursecreatorshq.com/podcast idea. And then if you want to do a second level of is this idea really any good or not? You can do coursecreatorshq.com/idea. And between those two, you will have a good feeling about the idea that you've come up with and where you're headed. So check out those 2 free mini courses so that you can jump on the email list, find out all the fun stuff we have going on, plus make some headway into your next course. So, okay, I had to talk about this today because I'm starting to see some sort of vague courses appearing. And I think part of this is AI isn't being specific enough and is kind of heading people in the wrong direction and kind of generic sort of topics. So I wanted to do this episode to make sure you answer these 6 questions before you create your next course. And they're not hard, but you do need to spend a little time sort of thinking about them. So grab a piece of paper and I'll put these in the show notes along with the links so you can go back and contemplate if you're listening while you're out or in the car or something. Come back to this episode. It's 228. So you can always go to the episode number. So Course Creators hq.com/228, and that'll give you the questions so you can just pull them straight from there. So let's jump into this. What is it that I'm wanting you to contemplate? So the first thing, and this is probably the most important, so if you leave this episode with anything, I want it to be this, and that is make sure you know and answer the question, what is the outcome, result, transformation, consequence, effect, conclusion, end product, development that a student will have at the end of your course. So they have completed your course, and where are they going to be? What's going to be different? And like you notice, I tried to find every word I could think of to help you sort of come out from this because, transformation, that's kind of a big concept, and not every course is going to have a transformation, but really every course should have an outcome or a result or something that gets developed by taking the course. And the reason you need to focus on this, there's kind of 2 points. Number one is this is what people are purchasing. They're not purchasing 6 lessons with you or 5 hours of video training. That's not what they want. They usually want to know at some point how your course is going to be delivered, but that's not what they're buying. They're buying this outcome, this result that you're promising that you're going to show them how to get there. So it is so important that you know this so that you can sell your course and it's going to the right people. But then also, this is how you know what needs to be in your course and what doesn't. So if I'm going to teach somebody how to make sourdough bread, I'm not going to explain all of the different yeasts and different ways you can make bread rise. I'm only going to explain the pieces that need to be there for sourdough. So if I wanted to teach a course like everything you need to know about baking bread, that's a totally different outcome than here's how to make sourdough bread. And so you really have to have this nailed down at the beginning. So I want you to make sure that you spend some time on this and not kind of have this vague, well, I think I want to teach them X, Y, and Z. Nope. We got to get specific on that before you jump into the creation side of things. So that leads us into the second piece of the question, which is, or the question number 2, actually, what type of person is perfect for this course, and where are they on their journey? So if we want to go back to my sourdough experience, that's probably going to be someone that's a beginner or maybe an intermediate that wants to dabble in sourdough, and a beginner or intermediate baker that hasn't tried it yet, and they've heard that it's a bit of a process and they want to figure out how to make that work. So you can see there, I didn't pick out, it's women, age 32, blah, blah, blah. Some of that can be helpful if you're trying to get your messaging just right. But for now, I just want you to have an idea of, are they beginner, intermediate, or advanced? And what experience do they have to have already? So what are the precursors? If you remember when we were in college, there used to be like, you have to take this course before you can take this other course. And it's the same concept of, what do they need to know ahead of time before they jump into your course so you don't overwhelm them or so they don't feel lost? And taking the time to lay that out before you sell the course will help a lot with the refunds and with happy students because you don't want somebody signing up who's not ready. And you also don't want someone signing up who's too advanced, who's like, well, I know all this already. Those will just result in refunds. So make sure that you are clear on exactly who the course is for, and that you do that messaging when you are putting your sales messaging together, that you're explaining like, this is who this is for, this is who it's not for, and include those notes in all of your sales pages. So that's question number 2. What type of person is this perfect for, and where will they be on their journey? The next question is one that I want you to spend a little time researching, and you might even be able to use ChatGPT to help you with this one. I would start there. Google could also help with some of their AI overviews, but you need to know who is already serving this audience. So I'd go out to either the ChatGPT prompt or maybe to Google and type in, who is teaching people how to bake bread? Or who is teaching people how to bake sourdough bread? Or who is teaching people how to enjoy their time in the kitchen? Because that's someone that maybe would jump into the side of, okay, I'm learning to use the kitchen better, and now maybe I'd also be interested in this other course about bread. And because it's complementary, because it's a course they maybe aren't teaching bread, then you can work with them and partner with them because it's complementary. So it's not only who's actually selling something similar to you, who's already maybe teaching the sourdough bread. What you're also looking for is potential partners and potential folks who are able to reach your same person, the person who's interested in baking sourdough, and make sure you use a little wide angle lens on this and really separate out. Maybe it's even somebody who helps organize the kitchen, and maybe their audience would be like, oh, look, I've got this perfectly organized kitchen. Now I want to go do something fun and bake this sourdough bread. So give yourself room to kind of open up and think about different options about who could partner with, because those are going to be your low-hanging fruit. The easy way to get a hold of your students are these folks that you can partner with. Okay, number 4. What are the steps to achieve the outcome that you are promising? And there's a couple different ways you can do this. One, I like to kind of just sit down and make a list, but I'm a list person. If you're not a list person, go do a mind map and start laying out, is this a main step or is this like a sub step, and kind of put them in some kind of logical order as main modules of your course. And then these are the individual lessons in each module, and spend some time. It's kind of an outline, same concept as you're putting your course together. So what are the things that you want to include? And then after you get done brainstorming this list, I want you to give yourself permission to start scratching things off. And some of those things that you are eliminating maybe become bonuses, maybe become extras. They could be things that would be like nice to know. So, for example, when you're teaching how to bake bread, maybe you want to talk about the different types of ovens, but maybe that becomes a bonus because people are maybe not going to buy a new oven just to bake bread. But it's kind of a nice thing to know when it does come time. That you've given them a buyer's guide to the best ovens for baking bread. So that's not an essential step, but that is kind of a fun little extra bonus that you can throw in. So figuring out the steps, and the second part of this one, when you're figuring out the steps to get to your outcome, is to recognize when you've got an outcome that is too many steps for a course. I came across the course the other day that had like 54 videos, and I thought, this is insane. This needs to be broken up because this is too big and too much. So make sure that if you have something like that, where you've got that many different steps in the process, that you have a good reason for it. And let me explain what I mean. So in my Kajabi Kickstart course, one of the things that happens is that we are covering a ton of the functionality. Like, I'm basically going through the whole software and walking you through how to set it up and brainstorm around how to set it up. So yes, that course really does need however bazillion videos we have on it, but it's arranged so that people can go in and, let's say they just want to understand the blogging part, so they can go in and just work on that part. Or they just want to understand how to put the course together, they can jump in and just work on that part. So if you've come up with so many steps to get through, think about, is this really the right way to teach this, or is this going to overwhelm my students? And then number 5, this is a new question that I just started asking, but I think this one can really save you some headaches and some time. And that is, where can you use AI to help inspire you or help you fill in the blanks? So you can use this to start on those steps that you want to achieve the outcome. And you can just say, put the prompt in there. Say, I'm putting together a course on how to create sourdough bread, how to bake sourdough bread, and give me the 6 steps to do it. And it will give you some initial steps. Now, this is not the outline for your course, because here's the important part. You need to go in and put your secret sauce in there. put your unique spin on it, your stories, your messaging on how you're different. But this does give you a place to start and a place to begin. So the AI tools can help with that and a bunch of the marketing side of things. And I will link to some related episodes where we dig in a little deeper on how you can use the AI tools to help you and to make all this more come together more easily. So catch those episodes if you haven't listened to them yet, though they will be in the show notes. And then number 6, our last question is, what type of course delivery will best serve your student? And let me explain what I mean by this. So one example is, let's say you're going to teach something to young moms of little kids who honestly do not have time to sit down at the computer and spend hours and hours and hours watching your videos. So maybe you need to set up a private podcast that they could listen to on their phone over their podcast app, or they could listen in the car, or they could listen while they take their little ones for a walk. They could be listening, or while they're exercising. So thinking about the type of course delivery is really important, because maybe the lessons that you're pulling together, maybe they need to be videos, maybe they need to demonstrate how to do something, but could you get a similar impact from listening? Or do you need some checklists and some workbooks for people? Will that make them more likely to consume and get to the end? All of those little things that you can pull together to make the delivery more efficient, the delivery more effective, the delivery more fun, the delivery easier to actually do the homework and do the steps. All of those things that add a ton to what your course is and make you much more popular with your students. So thinking about how the best way is to deliver the course is essential. And we were talking about this week with some colleagues, and I were working on a corporate project, and we were really starting to think about, it's a big corporate implementation, and so different people are going to need a different level of training, and even the same type of person is going to need a different type of training. So, for example, the customer service reps at one location do their process differently than the customer service reps at another location. So we have to make sure that when we're not just doing one overall customer service rep training, that we need to break it out between the two different groups and what's different for each of them. So it's going to be a big project, but you get the concept of how this can work. All right, so the 6 questions, use them to make your course even better and make the marketing easier and to make it more popular with your students. And let me know how it goes. I'm really curious if these were helpful for you. Plus, grab those free mini courses. Use them to help you pull together the next step and figure out your ideas. So I hope this was a good episode for you. I hope you got an idea or two that you can carry forward and got you thinking. That was my goal. Think about your course before you jump into the creation side of things. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you listening and subscribing and following, and have an amazing week. We'll catch you next time.